What up, Speed Addicts fam? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it might be a good idea to go ahead and subscribe or like and comment because there is a lot more content that we're gonna share. So in this episode, I want to do some aluminum welding. We're to the point now where it's time to do some aluminum welding. But before we do that, let me give you guys an update on the progress on the Nissan. All right, first update, as you can tell, the hot side is done. Everything has been header wrapped. As far as the hot side's been header wrapped, and then the 4-inch downpipe, and then also the 3-inch downpipe going down and out the back. I took in the valve covers and we welded a -10 male bung on both valve covers, and we went ahead and did our catch can lines. We're running a -10 over to that catch can that I was talking so much junk about. I think I made a video about it, but I ended up repairing this catch can, got my money back, and decided to just go ahead and fix it, repair it, and then keep it. But we got our lines running to also the driver's side cover, so that's done. We got everything hooked back up as far as our spark plugs, and I got my little heat shield put on those. If you don't know much about these heat shields, it's almost like a requirement or a necessary modification for LS stuff. We snake around here. I've already got my belt on. I've put my power steering pulley back on. I made a new line for it, and then also got a brand new tensioner. But for some reason, this tensioner stuck out about a ½ inch, so I had to straight butcher the webbing, butcher all this mess, basically take ½ inch off and then clear it so that it wouldn't touch the alternator, touch the water pump. So that's good. I got my 2 heater core lines hooked back up going to the back, so that's nice. I didn't have to modify that. My old setup was able to fit. And then as you can tell, I got my radiator back in, I got my hoses back on, I got the intercooler on, and I also got my transcooler hooked back up. And also, I know I showed the video of me welding one O2 bung on. I ended up welding the second one on. One goes to the Holly, and then the second one goes to my my AEM wideband gauge. We crawl up underneath the car. I end up getting a temperature sensor from Low Dollar Motorsports. Instead of welding it into the transmission pan, I didn't feel like taking that thing off and draining it and doing all that. I was able to use the pressure port on the side of it. All I need to do is wire up the pigtail and figure out which output that I need to wire it into the Holly. And then that's the exhaust. That's where it's hooking up to. That's how I got my exhaust ran. I got my modified 4L80 V8 transmission brace, and I got 3-inch all the way to the back. And then check that out. I got some new meat for the back of the tires. These are some ET Street R's. I'm gonna be using these on the street. They're 275/50 R15. It's a 15x10. I forget the back spacing, but the gentleman I bought it off of had these on a Mustang. So the lug pattern's the same. These guys do bolt up to the hub with a spacer on it. I got a 1-inch spacer, but the problem is that they touch the upper control arm. So I'm gonna have to either modify my upper control arm, or I'm gonna have to get one for a S14. If you're not familiar with the 240 stuff, that's what the upper control arm looks like. S14 one is missing one of those sides, so you only got a bar going to the other side. I may take this one and cut one side off, and then of course, you know, strengthen it, re-engineer it, or whatever the case is, basically make it an S14 and then add my little spin on it, my little Speed Addicts spin on it. But when we get to that point, we'll get to that point. So let's start on the intercooler piping. I've got some miscellaneous pieces already fit up. I got a 45 here, and then I got a pipe that I've already welded. It's basically a straight to another 45. And right now, I got everything set up. Once I move the fuse box out the way, I got everything set up where basically I need to make a straight piece to fit in between those two. So let me get my tape measure out and see how long of a piece I need to make. Looks like a 7-inch piece, so let me go ahead and cut that. Before we weld all this stuff up, let's test fit it. Oh man. Whew. Yep, that's gonna work. All right guys, I got all of my pieces cleaned up. So now we're to the point where we need to tack it. I think I'm gonna tack the straight piece. It don't really matter what I tack it to first because this is a straight piece. Let's go over a few settings that I use when I do AC on 16 gauge. Usually intercooler pipe is 16 gauge, so let's go over some settings that I got from Mike at Monkey Fab, and I also got a lot of them from weldingtipsandtricks.com. That's the amperage that we're using, 78 amps. We got AC balance at 35. I got my frequency kind of high because I don't want too much penetration, so the higher the frequency, the less penetration, and everything else really don't matter. I got ramp down amperage is like 10, but for the most part, that's a good starting point, or at least that's a good point for me. So now that I got everything clean up, let's tack it, and then we'll go ahead and weld it all up. And then also real quick, I'm using a number 6 cup. With AC, you don't really need much stick out, and I think I'm running like somewhere around the 18 to 25 CFH on argon. And then real quick too, when you do aluminum, these deals that you get from weldmongers.com, these little fiberglass deals, man, they are wonders. The thing with aluminum is when you start welding that aluminum brand, that man soak up so much heat, and I mean that junk is like fire hot, like too hot. So protect your fingers. Get you a big one that you can lay over like that, and then you of course get you one of these that you put your little pinky finger in. Maybe one of these days I'll figure out how to record welding, but to dumb it down, what you want to do is not press the pedal all the way down, and what happens is you get this, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a frost material around that dab. You want to frost it, which is basically burning off the outside stuff to get it like down to the actual aluminum section, and you basically slowly increase the amperage, and what happens is you start seeing that puddle. As soon as you start seeing that puddle, you go ahead and dab it, and then once it's puddled, the more heat you put in it, the more that puddle like kind of widens out. And then when you want to come off of the puddle, like basically when you want to terminate the wheel, you just don't come right off the foot pedal. You kind of come off of it slowly, and then you kind of swirl it in this little motion so that you don't have like a little crater. If you come off too quick, what happens is you'll have like a little dot or a little crater right there in the middle of that deal right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I made 3 tacks. And so I'm gonna start welding on the 4th tack. Basically, that's what you're trying to get. You're trying to get enough penetration, but you also want that ripple to be raised. It might be raised too much, but at the same time, it's intercooler piping. So I already hit this thing with compressed air. Now it's time to reinstall it so we can make sure we get our fit up so we can weld this piece to the piece that's attached to the turbo. So as far as getting the intercooler piping fit up so that you know exactly the orientation you need to weld it, you got two options. You can use some of this high temperature paint, or excuse me, you can use this high temp tape. Sometime back in the day I used to use painter's tape, but the problem with painter's tape is once it gets hot, it gets sticky, so you need to make sure you clean it with acetone. Or you can make you 2 or 3 reference marks using a simple Sharpie. I've already removed that tape, hit everything with acetone. Another good little tip also is get you one of these little stainless steel little brush kits. This particular one I got came with like 2 of them. It was good to have 2 because what they say is when you use this, whatever material you use it on, you want it to be dedicated to that. So this one here is for my aluminum. I've etched in the A in the side of it so that I know that this is the one for aluminum. And a lot of times, before I weld, what I do is I'll brush in between the welds, just like that, and then hit it with acetone one more time. When you do that, it helps you get a really good clean weld. Also another little tip too, when you weld aluminum, when you dab it, the puddle actually rises. So when you first start doing this stuff, a lot of time, as soon as you dab it, that puddle will rise, and then it'll touch your tungsten, and you have to take the tungsten out and regrind it. So a good little trick to do is when you weld aluminum, you have the arc, and then when you dab it, kind of raise up. So you kind of doing this number right here, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course I'm over exaggerating it, but you get the point. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and brush this, hit it with acetone one more time, and then I'm gonna start my weld on the 4th tack, and we're gonna knock this pipe out. Man, that thing look good. So now that we're done, all we gotta do is install it with a couple of T-bolt clamps. And the good benefit for this is that the hot side intercooler pipe is no longer 2 pieces, it's now 1 piece. Wow, look at the finished product. Bees looking all consistent and shiny. Got my T-bolt clamps on there. Man, that mess is looking fresh. Why? Looking fresh there. Why? Now it's time to do the cold side. I'm not messing with that pipe. That's the pipe with the dual blow-off valves on it. I'm not messing with that one, but I am messing with the one that's gonna go from here to here. The reason why is because my air intake temperature sensor used to be right here, and now it's touching the power steering pulley. Oh, my beautiful wife is calling. All right, in order for me to get the intercooler pipe where I want it, that gold line down there, yeah, right there, I'm gonna have to trim some more of that out. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock it out real quick, and then we can worry about making that pipe that goes in between the pipe that I made and the throttle body. All right, let's see what we're working with. Gotta take for an account that this is gonna go inside of that pipe. Looks like 13 inches. Man, I think this is a perfect candidate for 13 inches. It's got the bead rolled end on it. So let me go ahead and make my measurement and slice this mug up. See what this joker gonna look like. Ooh, that mug looking fresh. Wow. Yeah, that look good. That look good. And I don't remember how much more in detail I was talking about as far as prepping the aluminum. But from start to finish, I hit it with the little Scotch-Brite ball that I got from Harbor Freight. I wash it with another little piece of Scotch-Brite pad, Dawn dish detergent, and water. I hit it with some compressed air. Then I wipe it down with acetone. And then also I hit it with some MAP gas. MAP gas will get the acetone off of it, get the water off of it. And it also kind of preheats the aluminum so that it's easier to get that puddle started. Y'all look at that jump. That mess done. Most importantly, I got a pinky finger and a half of clearance in between there. And I mean, that mug ain't jiggling nowhere. You see that? Look. It ain't going no daggone where. So the last thing we got to do, because I know it look like it's done, but it ain't done. You know why it ain't done? Because we got to have somewhere to put this right here. Ta-da! What is this? This is the daggone pigtail for the mat. Manifold absolute. It's called an AIT. I don't even know why they call it MAT. Y'all comment below with MAT. I think it's manifold absolute temperature, maybe. But either way, this is the sensor. And I don't have a bung for it. And I'm not gonna order no bung online and wait like 5, 6, 7 days for it. I'm gonna go to our local shop called Phantasm Motorsports here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab that air intake temp sensor, bung to weld into place. And I'm gonna take you guys with me. We made it to Phantasm.
Yeah. It's bigger and it opens all the way up.
What's up, home?
What's up?
What's going on, bro? You doing all right? You chilling? You doing all right?
Yeah.
Since y'all down there representing, look at that. And that's a good price.
$10.
$10. You heard it. Shops is doing leadway except for Phantasm though.
Right.
Hey,
it's true though.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you from this area, you know what I'm saying. You know about Roses. I mean, Roses is about the only place that do leadway. I mean, how many places can you go?
Right.
And get a set of Hot Wheels like that or wood grain steering wheel on leadway?
That's right. Absolutely.
Hey, and plus these jokers are the OGs down here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, hey, they do some good stuff around here, and they representing with that super too.
That's right.
So I might drop the video like somewhere in here real quick.
Here comes Gonzalez. There's Lucas Gonzalez, 132 to 60 foot.
All right, fam, we've arrived back at the shop. Stopped by Phantasm, picked up our air intake temperature bung. So we're gonna go ahead and mark where we want to weld this thing at, drill our hole, get it all cleaned up, and let's go ahead and finish this setup. Wow! You see that? That's that vibrant air intake temp sensor. We got it plugged in. And before I close out this video, let's see if we can start this thing up. I may or may have not already started it, but you ain't seen it, and you don't know if I'm lying or if I'm telling the truth. But we're gonna see or attempt to try to start this thing really quick before we end this video. I forgot to tighten up the exhaust manifold on the passenger side. So let me tighten them up real quick, and we'll turn it back on so you can at least hear the camshaft. Hey, let's try this again. Y'all, the cam is hitting, I mean, it ain't hitting hard, but it's hitting hard enough that the car is shaking on the lift. Check this out. All right, let's go to the back so you can hear what it sounds like going through the muffler and not the loud valve. go ahead and I'm gonna manually open up the loud valve so you can really hear what it sounds like. Or when I say, talk about the cam, the Summit Racing Stage 3 Turbo Cam. Listen to it when I open up this cutout manually. So this is just a little bit of the vital signs. My coolant temp is looking good. I wanted my AFRs to be around like a 14.7 at idle, like a 14.15. I may bump that up a smidge. We got my RPM at the moment at like 800. And if you look at that bottom right hand side, as this thing is running right now, it's basically learning the air fuel ratio characteristics, and it's basically it ain't really making adjustments, but it's making adjustments, and all I gotta do is hit one button to take that adjustment and transfer it over to the base map. I mean, this mess right here is it, guys. And I'm sorry my hand is shaking. It's just this cam is just hitting so hard. That joke looks like it's about to shake off the lift, man. Look at that. You seen it here. The car is running, and all I gotta do now is button up a few little small ins and out type deals. I do have to make a custom dash for the Holly dash. So that'll probably be the next episode that you'll see on this, as far as doing some cool stuff. But in the meantime, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll check you on the next episode. Love you guys. Enjoy every last one of y'all. If you got any input, any suggestions, comment below. Do your boy a favor, share some of this stuff, and give me some feedback. If you like it or you don't like it, let me know. But until then, I will check you on the next one.